Hi everyone, this is Kavita, Certified Empowerment Coach and Hypnotherapist, and you are listening to the Enlightened Heart podcast, where we explore topics that empower HSPs and empaths to go from surviving to thriving in the world. I use my years of coaching, my personal experience, and my training to provide deep insights and implementable strategies to help you thrive. Hello. In this episode, I want to talk about self-worth and busyness, and self-worth related to doing too much. So if you're a person that is in a place where you feel like you're doing so much and you still don't feel great about yourself, or you find yourself comparing that the actions that you take or the results of your actions to others, and then your next step is to do more, then this episode is for you. So let's start up with talking about the busyness piece. Okay, so it's become like this badge of honor, right? To come and respond with, I am so busy, with filling your time with tasks. And if someone asks, how are you doing? Often a response like, I'm so busy is what is actually seen as good in our society. Often we are also fed the idea of the hustle, right? That we're meant to be hustling and, it's valuing that hustle and pushing yourself and like waking up super early and doing stuff all day long and then collapsing at the end of the day. So now, if this is how you are choosing to live, then good for you. That's your choice. But the issues come when this is the way that you feel a sense of self-worth, okay? And that's how you measure your worth as a person. And when you do that, it's not honoring you as a human being. It's looking at you as a human doing. So when you are behaving this way, it's important to bring it into your consciousness and be conscious about what you're doing, because often these behaviors are unconscious. And unfortunately, most of us are living unconsciously. But most likely, if you're listening to this podcast, you have some awareness of wanting to live more consciously and be aware of how you live your life and make different choices. So, since you're still listening, let's talk about how to do that, okay? So it's important to look at your actions and see, what do you actually do in a day, in a week, in a month? Did you know there's something called the Pareto principle or the 80-20 rule? Okay, so it means that 20% of your actions create 80% of your results. So let me say that again, 20% of your actions produce 80% of your results. So if this is true, then a lot of the things that you're doing on a regular basis, the way that you're keeping yourself busy, is actually not contributing to reaching your goals, okay, and to living the way that you would like to live. So if some of this stuff is hitting a nerve for you, you're feeling a little bit triggered, I'm going to encourage you to take one step right now, okay? And it's going to be a step of awareness. Choose if you'd like to look at your week, your day, or your month. And I want you to just make the decision right now that you're going to track it. You're going to track your actions for a period of time. Track what you actually do. How do you spend your days and your hours and your minutes? Okay. And some people might find it useful to use a device like your phone and record on the phone what you're doing instead of writing. Other people find pen to paper useful. Other people like spreadsheets. It really doesn't matter. Do it in a way that works for you. And then once you've tracked that, you will already, through the action of tracking, you will start to notice how you behave differently. But if you're choosing to take this even further, then it's about looking at your actions and seeing which actions are actually producing the results, or actually you're working towards your goals, right? So if a lot of the actions you take are just doing because you've always done them, or you're just doing those actions because you think you should, or you're doing them because you think you have to, right? There's a lot of reasons that we do and complete actions and repeat actions, okay? So when you bring it into consciousness, you can already start to shift and make the changes you need to make, okay? That's one thing you can do. If you really want to take this even further, I'm going to recommend you check in with what you really want in your life. What are your goals? What's the vision of your life? And are the actions that you're taking related to that goal and to that vision that you have, those goals and vision? And if they're not, then it's really time to make some shifts and changes of how you spend your time. And then, if you're not sure about your goals and vision, that is something that I help my clients with all the time. We often deny who we are to please others, or because we have been told that we're not worthy for some reason or the other, maybe because you're different. So we lose touch with who we are and what we really want. So if that's the case, then, I would book a clarity session and let's talk and see if we can help you clarify your goals and your vision. So going back to the overdoing it, some of you might be saying like, what's the big deal, right? So what if I overdo it? And so what if I spend my days in busyness? And again, if that's your choice and it's your conscious choice, then that's okay, right? But if it's not a conscious choice and you're just doing it because that is how you feel like a worthy human being, or you feel like obligations or responsibilities, then revisiting how you spend your time is important. Some of the things that I see with women and actually with myself are things like adrenal fatigue and other long-term health consequences, right? Which is really just not worth the busyness, because then your health is impacted. And the other thing is that people that don't take breaks, don't rest, don't celebrate their wins, don't enjoy life, or as the saying goes, take time to smell the roses, those are the people that don't slow down, and then life slows you down somehow. Something externally will happen to make you take a break, to make you slow down. And sometimes that comes through illness, unfortunately. Okay, so I don't want that to happen for you, but that's another reason to consider and to look at how you spend your time, to consider slowing down a bit and to consider to focus. So how is this related to self-worth? So for a lot of clients and for the people that I know and for myself, self-worth was related to the production. What do we produce? What are our goals? What are our goals that we've reached? What are the things we've accomplished, right? So it's like these external pieces of either like how much money you make or how far you've reached in your career or how many things you've done with your time, right? And so there's this like kind of a tally of the worthiness of you based on the worthiness of completion and task completion, right? And so this is, well, if that's how you believe, and this is a cause of a lot of busyness, okay? Because if you believe you're worthy, again, this belief could be unconscious, you're worthy, your worthiness is tied to what you produce, then it would make sense that you want to spend more time producing and you want to produce more, right? So you push yourself because who doesn't want to be worthy, right? So then taking a look at this worthiness, I want you to really take a look, if you're willing to, at your self-worth story. How is it that you define your worth? Is it what I shared about the accomplishments? Where is your self-worth coming from? How do you define self-worth? Who is more worthy? So a lot of these beliefs are subconscious, right? And they come from societal norms, from the media, from our parents, from our friends. A lot of times we're taking in so much information all the time and we're absorbing it without even realizing it. And did you know if you're watching TV, then you're in a mild hypnotic state? And so that can cause those things that you're being shown to be embedded in your subconscious and influence your behavior without you even knowing that, right? And now we have social media and the ads on social media and all these things that are influencing us, right? So if you keep telling yourself that it doesn't impact you, that doesn't mean that it doesn't impact you. Okay. So it is impacting you. Okay. So in the media, often self-worth is defined as, how much money you make, accomplishments, being famous, influencers, right? And so people that like, oh, wow, they have made this much money. Oh, they have this many followers or this, whatever they've accomplished, right? And so that person for some reason is somehow defined as worthy or more worthy than someone else. Okay. And this is a problem because people are worthy. Who decides that the person that creates something is more worthy than someone else? One of the things that always comes to mind is, I heard on one of Oprah's podcast episodes where she talked about after years of doing her show, at the end, everyone on the show would ask her when the cameras went off, was that okay? Do you think they saw me, understood me, heard me? Right? And so I'm paraphrasing. I don't think those were the exact words she used, but really, so everyone wants to be seen and heard, right? So we all want to be worthy. We all want to be loved. We all want that, right? So if you're looking for that externally by accomplishing and by the admiration, right? That's an ongoing thing that will never fill you. It's never going to be enough. So I'm going to encourage you to look at your behavior. Are you choosing overwork, pushing, and people pleasing? If we all want to be seen and heard, if that's what the goal is, then how can you give that to yourself? Right? So how can you give yourself the recognition? How can you recognize your own accomplishments? How can you celebrate yourself right now? How can you do that? What can you do? Can you give yourself a break? What if you actually lived your life instead of waiting till fill in the blank is done and then you can do this? This is something that's really close to my heart because something that I've done a lot and I have to catch myself. It's my pattern, right? It's almost something I do to cope when I'm not feeling so great about myself. It's like, do more things, right? Accomplish more. And instead, life is passing by. And, the things that are really important to me, I really check in and see, am I doing things that move me towards what I want to accomplish and fit my values of what's important to me? Okay. And if it's not happening for you, then really take a look at your schedule and make the changes you need to make. And remember the Pareto principle. Okay. I'll have a link to an article on that in the show notes. Okay. And so if you're not sure, like I shared about your vision, if you're not sure where you want to go, if you're not sure how to make the changes in your schedule, right? If you need that support, please go into the show notes, set up a clarity session. I'd love to speak with you. Okay. And as always, you can reach out to me through the email and stay in touch on social media. And if you haven't received my free gift of 5 keys to overcoming overwhelm, that link is in the show notes as well. This is Kavita with the Enlightened Heart. Until next time, take good care. Thank you for joining us for the Enlightened Heart podcast, where we focus on issues that are relevant to support highly sensitive people and empaths to thrive in this world instead of just surviving. I created this podcast to support people like you and me. So if you are called, please take a moment to write a review because you are truly appreciated as a listener, and I would love to be able to share this knowledge with others. Your review is like an invitation for others to join you. Until next time, take good care.